Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, right at the start of this month, Pakistan has categorically decided to repatriate all illegal foreigners from its soil. 31st October is the last date for voluntary returns, and soon after 1st of November, legal actions will be taken on against all those who are residing illegally. Now, this is the first topic we are going to discuss, and the second one, we are also going through the dire humanitarian crisis in Palestine, particularly in Gaza, after the Israeli indiscriminate and inhuman barbaric bombing at the Gaza civilians. Israel is also targeting Palestinians in West Bank as well. So we are going to discuss on all these topics, and for this discussion we have in our studios Dr. Wasim Ishaq. He is the international relation expert. Along with that, Hassan Khan, a renowned senior journalist and analyst. Most welcome to you.
Thank you.
And we have online Himayu Khan Saab. He is also international relation expert, and we will talk in detail with him as well. Thank you very much, Himayu Saab, with us. And now the first question that is very important in a relation with what Pakistan decided this month earlier, and that was related to the repatriation of all illegal foreigners residing in Pakistan. How do you see this decision? Do you think that there would be something better soon after repatriation of the illegal foreigners?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very important question, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I believe that this decision should have been taken much earlier. And since we all are part of the Westphalian nation state system, which actually granted the sovereignty and territorial integrity to every nation state system, thereby describing that every nation state has the right to control its borders and ensure that no illegal people reside into others' country. We have hosted more than 3 million Afghan refugees since last 40 years. And as per the latest reports, about 1.4 million are registered, and almost the identical number are unregistered. And other than Afghans, there are many other nationalities like the Bangladeshis, like Sudanese, like many other African nationalities. So what the government has decided that all those people who do not have any legal permission to reside inside Pakistan must leave Pakistan by 31st of October. I think this is a very good and very clear-sighted and foresighted decision which has been taken by the government, and all the state institutions must support, and through the media we all also convey to the international community that this is our national security compulsion, and most of the illegal migrants have been involved in a lot of terrorist activities inside Pakistan. And other than that, I think it's about time that we have to put our house in order by making sure that our border control and border management is now scrutinized, and there's a strict control and strict entry and exit points which must be monitored now around the clock. So in all these things, we have given this decision as a nation that we have to vacate Pakistan from all illegal migrants. So, but unfortunately, since majority of those illegal migrants are from Afghanistan, so therefore there is also a misperception which is going on around the international media as well as certain local medias, that we are just asking the Afghans to leave our soil.
As this is not basically the case.
Yes.
So, Hassan, how do you expel this notion, particularly when international media, international organizations, and some of the countries are blaming Pakistan that Pakistan is forcefully expelling these Afghans and even the refugees, although the refugees are not the part of this whole exercise. They are the registered Afghans. They even those who have the Afghan registration card, they are the part of legal residents here in Pakistan. But it is all about illegal foreigners, including Afghans. So how do you expel that notion?
Thank you very much, Faisal. I think this is a very crucial question, and I think the very answer to these questions lie in the debate that the government of Pakistan has taken the decision to expel illegal immigrants or illegal nationals residing inside Pakistan. Look, I think when somebody is illegal, so there is no need of taking such a, and advertising a decision that we are going to take this. Illegal mean illegal. If anything is happening, there is a law in Pakistan, as Dr. Saab has pointed out, the law of the land. So the law of the land says that you can't trespass my rights. I can't just take your possessions, because the law allowed you to be there and the law allowed me to be here. So this is an arrangement under the legal framework. So the government, instead of highlighting and saying that after we will implement this law after a month, so I think it can't happen. If somebody kills someone, you can't say that we will take action against you after a month, after 2 or after 3. No, by right at that time, if I'm here and I don't have the documents, look, if I'm in the US and I'm in Europe, everywhere in so-called civilized or developed world.
But Hassan, actually, a government has given this time frame.
This is
because
I think this is
just to think about the voluntary repatriation to their homeland.
Look, I think this
just to facilitate them.
Yeah, the government has done a big favor to them.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of just going and launching operations, telling the police officers, the police men that whosoever is illegal in Pakistan, just arrest him and deport him. Yes, it is happening everywhere in the world. Look at what happened with the ship when it was sank in the Greek border.
Definitely.
I think because they say that no, our law says that when you have to enter this country having certain documents, having certain visa, without just taking your bag and leaving for another country is not an option. So I think now a challenge for Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, is to keep this decision intact. Unfortunately, in the past, such decisions were taken, but due to certain pressures,
and that must have to be sustainable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The hue and cry in the international media, the international organization, it's quite unfortunate. A day before yesterday, I was in another program and somebody said that it's a humanitarian. I say, who is saying that it's a humanitarian? Look, this civilized world, how they are themselves following this international law.
Someone illegal means illegal, and that is not justified.
So nobody can justify it. You rightly said that this decision is not covering those Afghans who have the visa, who have the documents, or who are registered as a refugees. We call proof of registration,
proof of registration card. Yes.
If you have that, you are not covered by it. It is for those who do not have any identity, who just pick up their goods and enter.
Yeah, definitely. Point well taken.
So I think it has to be sustained, and beyond 31st, I hope there will be no more another
deadline or something else. We hope so. Imayun Khan Sahab, how do you see this decision, and why there is a criticism coming from Kabul? Because this decision is all about illegal Afghans, not about the refugees. When Afghan spokesperson has a statement, it was mentioned about the refugees, but I think so that he was misconveyed.
I will take from where Dr. Hassan left. Every sovereign nation has the right to decide who enter its territorial borders and what are the conditions in which that particular person can enter, stay, for how long they can stay, work or not work. And this is basically a decision of that sovereign country. So that's an international law. Based on that, we took a decision. Now, that decision was also taken in a context. National Security Committee's Apex Committee meeting was held, and our military and civilian leadership took many other decisions as well, in which Pakistan economy, which was suffering from many months now, there was socio-economic issues which the country was facing, there was security issues they were taking. So considering all 3-4 issues, this decision was taken that all illegal immigrants or aliens, as it's called in international law as well, needs to be repatriated to their countries. Now, within that context, since Hassan Saab has already mentioned that the largest number of refugees are from Afghanistan, it was misperceived that this decision was taken against them. Our interior minister, our foreign minister spokesperson, our ministry spokesperson has categorically, and not only one, on many occasions, even today, they have said that this is not directed at Afghanistan, but since they have the largest number of refugees here, they feel that this was directed them. Now, the number of the people that we just mentioned, Dr. Hassan mentioned, 1.7 million people did not register since they have come here. So now this is a two-pronged strategy by the state of Pakistan, that if till October 31st, if they can register themselves, they can provide legal documents, if they can provide this thing that, they have, and there are certain conditions by international law. If they feel threatened in their country, if there are cases against them, if they were persecuted, there are many ways in which they could prove that they are legally taking either asylum or taking a refugee status. So if that is done, I think government of Pakistan will take a very considerate notion against those who can prove that. Other than that, I guess rest of the people, be it Afghan, be it African nationality, be it Middle Eastern people, they'll have to go back, and then government of Pakistan will decide that we want to have this number of people coming to our state. We can provide them 6 months visa, 4 months visa, and that's an international practice everywhere in the world. The European Union is following that. United States of America is following that. Even other neighboring countries are following that. So I don't see this particular hue and cry from our neighboring country, Afghanistan, that we are just targeting them. It's not against them. It's basically taken in the interest of Pakistan. And there were many issues which were considered before this very planned decision was taken.
So, Imayu Khan sir, what about those Afghan citizens who came to Pakistan soon after when interim Afghan government or Afghan Taliban took over in Afghanistan, and they were promised by United States, European Union countries, UK and all others that they will be shifted to their countries and they will be given this status of their citizenship and all that. So what about those? Those are residing here and those countries are not fulfilling their promises, and now they are criticizing Pakistan that Pakistan is expelling all those. What sort of double standards these are?
Yeah, that's the irony of the situation, that they were promised, because ISAF and NATO spent 20 years there. We're not going to get into the debate that what they did there, but when these people came to Pakistan, they were promised by European countries, they were promised by England, they were promised by United States of America, they were promised by many other countries that you will get this particular visa within this month. So Pakistan should give access to these people, and it was supposedly a transit visa. We issued a large number of transit visa, which were like for 4 months, for 6 months. But unfortunately, the embassies working here, and we have had discussion with a lot of diplomats here, and they are saying that, we are understaffed. There are many people here. So if these European countries with larger number of GDPs, with resources, are understaffed, just to give you a reference, what about Pakistan? We are suffering from economic crisis for last many months now. 240 million of our own people. Our economy almost melted down like few months ago, and then we have revived. We've taken money from the IMF. So now in that particular sense, I guess it was a very carefully crafted decision on our part, that as of now, we want all illegal immigrants to go back. We're still, and you know what Hassan Saab was mentioning earlier, that after 31st of October, state should not give any more deadline. I guess this was also being done in the goodwill. We could have easily sent these people back and without giving them any notice. And this was the right of any state.
Absolutely right.
We can deport them without any notice. But Pakistan, since we had a lot of love for our Afghan brothers and sisters, we decided that, we should give them another chance. They can provide documents, or they can register themselves, or they can go back. But this was taken as, in my opinion, sort of like a weaker step, but it was intentionally taken this way so that this goodwill that we have created for last 30, 40 years should continue. And we still want to help our Afghan refugees, brothers and sisters. But these illegal Afghan migrants, or illegal Middle Eastern, illegal African migrants, or any other country's migrant, Bengali be it, they have to go back.
Definitely, if we have taken this decision categorically, so we have to stick to this decision. Sir, Dr. Saab, how do you see, particularly when some country like Pakistan facing huge numbers of illegal foreigners residing at its soil? So what sort of problems we have? We are going through an economic crunch. We have the issue of terrorism, in which, as the caretaker Interior Minister, Sarfraz Bukti, during his press conference rightly said that approximately out of 24, 14 of the bombings or the suicide attacks were carried out by the Afghan nationals.
I think this is a very serious issue for the national security of Pakistan. And as we since I am also a researcher on terrorism, etc. So, in last 2 years, just take an account of suicide bombings which have happened in Pakistan or other terrorist activities, I think 90% of those have been linked to Afghanistan by some means. So, therefore, and the TTP is also having its hideouts inside Afghanistan. And it is not only few elements, in fact, the extra regional actors like our eastern neighbor have also been actively involved in capitalizing on their friendship with Afghanistan and their hideouts inside Afghanistan, and they have been giving finances, they have been giving training, they have been giving lot of logistics. So, as a national security perspective, this is our biggest concern as of today, because most of these things happen from Afghanistan. And as on the humanitarian grounds, we have so far demonstrated lot of hospitality for 1.4 million registered Afghan refugees and almost 1.1 million unregistered Afghan refugees.
Even to other foreigners living in
other
the country.
foreigners. So, it is about time now. We have demonstrated hospitality, and even now the government has said that we are actually working on honorable return of the people to their respective countries. So, till 31st of October, we have given more than 1 month, having all the linkages related to our several security issues with the Afghan nationals and Afghan hideouts. Despite that, we as a government has been pledging on honorable return of people. So, after 31st of October, probably, and all the state institutions are geared up to play their part in expulsion, then we will be able to use the expulsion or deportation of those individuals who do not have any valid documents, and our deadline would have passed by then. So, that will be the time to really expel all those. But we have to take this action to its logical conclusion, and later on we have to ensure strict border control. All the entry and exits have to be monitored for rest of our time. That
very important point, Hassan. How do you see this important point? Because you know that if you are just repatriating all those illegal foreigners living in this country, but if you don't have the stern border control from the land borders, your airports, your sea ports and all that, so how is it possible that you will prevent all those, this is pilferages or just pouring in more illegal foreigners from any other country?
I think this is it's a big challenge because so far we have 2,600 kilometer border with Afghanistan, and it was totally porous border, and there were it was nowhere it was properly manned. Even at the checkpoint like the Torham, Chaman, and Ghulam Khan, Aranguradar, Kharlachi, Teremangal, etc., it was not properly manned and properly managed. It's quite unfortunate that we are bordering with a country which is at war within and without outside, and we are not looking at the affairs at the entry point or the exit point. Lately, we fenced the border, and it was a good decision. Now, most part of the border is fenced. However, my information, and maybe I am wrong, these entry points, especially in Baluchistan, where 2-3 entry points are there, but Chaman is the major one. We have to, I think there is a gate on it, there is a friendship gate on it, and there are the border security people. I think we need to work more. Even you can't name a single border point with Afghanistan which is properly managed, where there is the immigration stop is there, where the custom stop is there, where the rest of the stop is there. So even today, if you go to the Torham point, you will see the haphazard, the things which you will not who is going and who is
what about the other borders as well? Because you have a 1,000 kilometer of coastline as well. You have the border with Iran, with the eastern neighbor as well. Like we have some of the airports, international airports are well guarded.
But mostly these illegal people are not coming via the ports, via the airports. Is the two, either they come through Karachi, via Karachi, like we have the African, like we have the people from the Middle East, like either the Iranian also come via the border. With Iran, it is a bit managed, but not that, because still we are facing the smugglings, things like the petrol, the Iranian goods. Everywhere it is marketed in Pakistan. Even in Islamabad, you go to a cigarette shop and you ask them Irani cigarettes, you will get Irani toffee, Irani chocolate, Irani matches, etc. So you will get that. So it means that Irani border is not strictly managed one. Afghan border, it was historically, I was reading one book, and somebody asked the king of Afghanistan at that time that what is the length of...
You're talking about Zahir Shah?
Zahir Shah. Okay. It was Zahir Shah, was Dawood, the Prime Minister Dawood, President Dawood. He was asked what is the length of, it is, I'm quoting from a book, what is the length of border, Afghanistan border with Pakistan? He says 40 meters. It's only 40 meters, 20 meters at Chaman and 20 meters at Torkham. The rest there is no border. And it was a fact. There was no border at all. But now somehow things are getting streamlined. So I hope that now it is the time, I agree with Dr. Saab, it's the time that there will be strict monitoring. Who is exiting, who is entering. Look, I have visited Afghanistan several times. And believe me, whenever I cross the border, there were people just to pick me up. And nobody was caring that I have to have an entry stamp on my passport. I have to tell them, oh yeah, there is no need of it. No, there is a need of it.
Yeah, definitely.
The way you enter Pakistan, when you
But,
enter Pakistan, you just go.
Definitely, stern border controls, very well management, and along with that, particularly the vigilance at the borders, that is very important to deal with this issue. Mayun Khan Sahib, when we are talking about repatriation of all illegal foreigners, particularly, another point is very important, that how much Pakistan suffered at the hand of illegal nationals of many countries in Pakistan.
Faisal, this is also a very important question. We do not want to particularly, let's say, target one country for that matter by saying that since there was a massive influx from that particular country, our socio-economic conditions were shattered, the fabric of the society, the housing market, the hoarding issue, and then there are also many other issues. For example, when I was telling you earlier, when this decision was taken, one of the main concern from the economic point of view was there was smuggling of dollar, which was happening at a very high pace and at a very large quantity from Pakistan to our Western countries and Western neighbor. Then since it's a landlocked country on our Western side, I'm talking about Afghanistan, in terms of the goods that they were importing, and then those same goods were smuggled back to Pakistan. So the economy was suffering from a very massive amount. From one report, which I just recently read, it was around $4 to $5 billion worth of equipment, which Afghanistan was importing to Afghanistan via Pakistan. And then around 3 to 4 billion of that was coming back to Pakistan without paying any duties. So not only the economic fallout, but the security aspect was quite huge. Dr. Wasim was mentioning about the number of terrorist attacks which has happened. Somehow, predominantly, the linkage was always found. And this was also what Hassan Saab was saying. This border is 2,600 kilometers. It's very porous, although there's much of it has been fenced, but still, the tribes which are living on both the sides, there's a regular daily transfer of 100,000 people from one entry point to another. So I guess we need to take care of this border management very seriously, and we have to come up with some formula. And this is something which we have been talking to our Afghani counterparts, that there has to be biometric system installed on all the 6 openings. We need to have more openings between each of our sites. And then those needs to be manned, those needs to be fenced, those needs to be set up on international standards, where we need to issue documents to each other people who come on daily basis, that they could come. And, you know, this system has been in place with Iran. This system has been in place with on the Chinese border. You get a visa for 3 days or 4 days or 5 days. It's called Rahdari visa or transit visa. So we can do that. But what we need to do is we need to document. What was happening in the past, as anybody who wants to come here, they just come here for 1 day and then they just go and either work in Karachi or go live in Quetta or maybe living in Lahore or in Islamabad. This needs to be stopped, and this needs to be stopped by taking this decision, which our government has already taken. Now we will be focusing more on border management, not only on the western side, but all our border, which you were just asking earlier.
Thank you very much, Mayun Khan Sahib, international relation expert. Mayun Khan Sahib was with us, and here we take a very short break. Stay tuned to Foresight. Welcome back, viewers. Now we are going to talk on the dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. Soon after 7th of October, Israeli inhuman and indiscriminate bombing continues at the civilians of Gaza and now West Bank as well. Now the situation in Gaza is entirely a humanitarian disaster because of no availability of water, food, medicine, shelter and anything, and even Israel is not allowing the humanitarian corridor to get aid inside the Gaza territory. So we are going to talk. There are several efforts going on at the international level. Dr. Wasim, first of all to you, how do you see these international efforts to end the hostilities carried out by Israeli defense forces, and particularly when we are talking about these efforts, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, the Qatari Emir and all others, they are having not only the conversation with the US President, but also they have requested and even said that these hostilities must end and there should be no more escalation.
Thank you very much. It's a very important question. Whatever is happening in Gaza today, I think around 6,000 innocent people have already died and more than 15,000 have been injured. There's lack of food, water, electricity, everything. The meager convoys, about 16 convoys, 16 trucks have so far entered as against daily demand of 200 trucks for Gaza. Unfortunately,
this is just a drop in ocean?
Just a drop in ocean. Unfortunately, the United States policy is a blank check to Israel as it has appeared so far. And yesterday, President Biden has given another open check to the Prime Minister of Israel saying that Israel must take decision whatever they want. So means there are no caveats now on the Prime Minister of Israel to take decision. And immediately after that, the Defense Minister gave a statement and saying that now we will change the equation 180 degrees, whereby we are continuing with the air bombardment, then there will be a ground incursion, and thereafter will be a toppling down of Hamas government. So this is how they are planning, and the US has given them their explicit approval of this plan. But on the other hand, since there is a death and devastation for the innocent people, so therefore there is a great realization, and especially I would say the Arab neighbors at the OIC, the Arab League level, and the great powers like the Russia and China together. They have now requested this UN Security Council to become more active, and they have tabled one resolution before. There is yet another resolution which is being tabled. All of them have given the first thing, cessation of hostilities forthwith.
Yes, definitely. I must ask because Hassan, how do you see the role of two big powers, Russia and China? Because rest of the veto powers are actually halting each and every resolution tabled by Russia or China or might be any sort of player. So how do you see that? Because Russia's resolution was to end the hostilities and allow the humanitarian corridor to get open to help all those who are injured or who need the dire humanitarian aid. So why such thing is happening, and why West is giving a blank check to Israel?
It's quite unfortunate, and sometimes I see even the international community and international powers are also doing politics over this huge, biggest humanitarian crisis that has already unfolded in Gaza and in Palestine. I think it is not, for me, this, which is very heartening, which is very sad, it's not the killing of innocent Gazan, Palestinian and Gaza, are the killing of innocent children, are the killing of innocent women.
By the way, this killing is not limited to Gaza. It is now entered into West Bank as well.
Everywhere. It is at Ramallah, it is at Rafah, it is at West Bank. Look, but the most, I think, saddening for me is the attitude of the world, and especially the so-called civilized world, the so-called developed worlds, which are giving us books, and Dr. Saab knew very well, lectures on democracy, on human rights. Like, look, we have just taken a decision to implement our law. Whosoever is illegal in Pakistan shall be evicted. So now they are teaching us what human law says, what humanitarian is. There are kids in it, there are women in it, there are elderly people. The people, businesses will be disturbed. And look, their attitude that you rightly said that now there's another blank check is issued to the Israeli Prime Minister. Look at this UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, he has just, and next morning he visited Israel, and he gave a big pat on the back of Netanyahu. Then French President Macron, he also visited the US President. And look at the US Secretary of State. When he was addressing the people in Tel Aviv, what he was saying, he said, I'm here not as the Secretary of State of United States of America. I'm here as a Jew. And it's my own look. So without looking at the way,
unfortunately, these two countries, UK and US, they were the one who has actually initiated.
Yeah,
this
was actually initiated, and
yeah.
France.
So,
Germany,
Dr. How do you see particularly the French president's visit to Israel? Because he is might be there in Ramallah as well. So he given a 4-point formula in which he recognized the right of Palestinians as well, halt of escalations on Gaza, as well as he also emphasized upon two-state solution, what Pakistan, OIC and rest of the Muslim countries are emphasizing from the last many decades.
One thing that he did visit Ramallah as well. He also met with the President of Palestinian Authority. Over there, he has not clear-cut said about the two-state solution so far. There has been a statement, something related to the Palestinian rights, but not as a two-state solution. However, China and Russia have been absolutely unequivocal support for two-state solution, and they have said that the root cause of all these issues is actually the US incapacity and incapability to implement Oslo Accord, which has actually guaranteed the two-state solution. So that the bigger problem is how to resolve the Palestinian issue as a two-state solution. So when that is resolved, certainly there will be hardly any extremism and terrorism left, which they are now saying. So from the overall international relations perspective, the great powers are now engaged, and lone United States or the European Union together may not be able to just give a blank check as they have already been given. And we have also seen the reports that the Israeli army had launched a limited ground offensive inside Gaza, but it was repulsed. So if that statement is absolutely true, as I have just heard on one of the news media, then probably Israel would have to review its strategy of ground offensive.
So how do you see the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, and US President's conversation and their statement? Because that is very, very important as well.
I think if you just see the UN General Assembly just few months ago, over there Prime Minister Netanyahu had announced the rapprochement with Saudi Arabia and about to become Abraham Accord 2. Saudi Arabia has taken a very bold decision to put that all rapprochement on halt for the time being, and Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Egypt and the Arab League as an organization have been forthcoming about the Palestinian rights. They have demanded several times now the cessation of hostilities and opening up of humanitarian corridors, and they are also emphasizing on the two-state solution as the dire need of the hour. So therefore now the international opinion and international consensus are building up for resolving this issue once for all to avoid the kind of escalation which is happening every now and then.
So Hassan, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a very categorical statement, and he said that Israeli actions, he had not named Israel, but he said that the actions or the escalation is the complete violation of the international humanitarian laws and the human rights laws. So how do you see, and soon after Israel demanded resignation of the UN Secretary General. So
look, I think this is, I'm quite pessimist about the situation unfolding, still unfolding in the Middle East, specifically in Palestine, and to say a bit of disagreement with Dr. Saab that the global south or the non-Western or the non-US nations, they are now gearing up their support. It's 20 days, and for last 20 days, Israel has not halted for a single day their bombardment, their killing. They are targeting the hospitals, they are targeting the residential quarters, they are targeting the highways.
There is no ceasefire even for a single hour.
And now they are opening the ground incursion
Yes.
on
Ground offensive,
the
yes.
Gaza ground offensive there. So I'm not sure that what are the outcome so far of the Russian efforts, of the Chinese efforts, of our Middle Eastern friends. No doubt the Middle East is very much concerned. The other day I was listening to the King of Jordan, King Abdullah, and he was categorical, was very categorical in condemning it and saying that if it goes further, I think sometimes I get confused that why the West and the US are presenting Israel as a pariah in this region. I think he is there as an enemy for all, not only for Palestine. He has attacked Lebanon, he has attacked Syria, the other border countries. So I think everybody is in a state of fear because he is being supported by the big powers. He is being supported by the US, by the West, etc. But for how long? I think for how long? One, two. I think the US and the West, they are getting a very bad image in the Middle East. You know, Middle East is not, you can't say it is the few monarchies, it's the few small kingdoms. Middle East is a region, and it is a very thriving region. It is a very politically active region. So I think, I don't understand the way the West is behaving, the way the US is behaving. I don't now look at the yesterday's statement of President of US Secretary of State statement regarding Iran.
Definitely. Viewers, it is a very dire and very disastrous situation in Gaza, particularly the humanitarian aspect, because millions of people need urgent assistance and relief. And also now the international community is time and again stressing upon all powers to take restraint and end hostilities, and particularly to give peace a chance. This is today's Foresight, and thank you very much for watching Foresight. This is time to sign off here. Allah Hafizul Asr.